How's it going? So today I want to talk about Mary's Medicinals transdermal patches. I have tried 2 of them, this THC Indica 20 milligram and also a THCa. I don't have the little packaging for it. I didn't get the packaging for it. I was able to try these as samples, so I did not pay for these, but it's also not sponsored from the company. It's just because I work at a dispensary and they wanted me to be able to try this out so I could see how I felt / help decide if we want to get them in. So, this is completely an honest review, not at all biased by the fact that I got it for free. The THC Indica one is the one I'm going to start off with. It's the one that I tried first. I applied it on my wrist, so you're supposed to, wash your skin and put it on an area with a lot of veins, whether that be the top of your foot or the inside of your wrist. I noticed that I had an easier area on my wrist. I was going to try one on my foot, but I wanted to make sure I got the best possible result from it, and I figured doing it in the same spot would give me, a good idea. On the day that I tried the THC 20 milligram Indica patch, I just gotten dry needling trigger point therapy. So my back and my jaw were just really, really agitated. And P.S. if you haven't tried trigger point therapy and you have back spasms, really amazing. And I stress out in my jaw, so he would do them in my jaw too, and it was awesome. Anyway, back to the patch. So on that day, I was feeling really, really beaten up because we had done more needles than we ever had before. So I got home and washed my wrist, applied the patch. My manager told me that the 20 milligram patch is basically like 200 milligrams. It's just slow release. So the effects from it, probably 20-30 minutes in, when I was just sitting, I think I might have been on my computer right here, and I just noticed that I wasn't really feeling anything, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. And then I started to move, and I still did feel some pain when I was moving, not necessarily pain, it was just agitation, soreness. So I still felt some of it, but it was significantly dulled. So, and I had heard that my general manager, he had tried a patch and really didn't like it. He didn't notice anything. So I feel like if you have pretty moderate to severe pain, it's really a great way of reducing it significantly. If you need to move around, you don't have to be high, you don't have to be eating edibles, it's just something you can put on your skin and you can move around and significantly dull the pain. It doesn't eliminate it when you're moving, but like I said, when I was just sitting there, I was like, oh, I'm not really feeling anything. And when I laid down, it was just, my body was at peace. I didn't feel soreness. I didn't feel tension in my jaw. I'm actually feeling that right now. I really like the idea of these patches, and I think they did a good job. The 200 milligram, I definitely felt more. And it's extended release, so it's 12 hours. And I would say the first few hours were definitely more obvious as far as the dullness. So the pain, I guess, did kind of increase throughout the day, or come back to normal throughout the day, or where it was. But it didn't go back to before I had the patch on. 20 milligram, I believe, worked better than the 10 milligram, but that is, I feel potentially biased because I tried the 20 milligram before the 10 milligram, so I would suggest trying the 10 before going to the 20. Why not just test out the 10, and if the 10 works, have the 20 for the days that you really, really need it. As far as just the experience of it, one thing I don't like is I wore the patch a couple of days ago, and I've showered a few times. I've used a, so you can really see it there. a loofah, no, not loofah, stone? Like a foot scrubbing stone, whatever that is. I can't think of it right now. I've used it lightly on my skin to try to get the adhesive off a couple of times, and it looks like it comes off and then it doesn't. So that's one thing that's kind of a bummer, is it does leave adhesive. If I had some lemon essential oil, or I really, really cared to get it off, I'm sure I could. I just am not into agitating my skin super bad. That was one thing that I was kind of like, but when it's a patch and you're sticking it on your skin, and this is the edges, like where all the dirt and stuff gets under. So I don't think there's anything they can really do about that, unless you want it to stick not as good, which I would prefer it to stay on. First patch, I felt like I felt more, but I definitely did feel the second patch dull my pain. I think it was also because I placed it better the second time than the first time. The first time I had it like overlapping farther over here, which there's not, a vein over there. But the second time I got it really well on it. And actually the first time I was like worried about getting it in the creases of my wrist. This time I was more focused on getting it over the veins, and it was clearly over the creases of my wrist. At first I thought that would be like not a good thing, but it didn't seem to matter because, again, I definitely felt the 10 milligram, which I wasn't sure that I would. So that's how I feel about Mary's Medicinals. The moderate to severe pain, I definitely think they're an excellent way of reducing pain, not necessarily completely eliminating it during movement or necessarily the whole time, but it's still really, really incredible. For what it is and what it can do, it's A+. I really like it. Okay.